So today I'm reviewing a book that agrees with the idea that carbon dioxide is plant food, that climate has always changed, and that CO2 is absolutely crucial to life on Earth. This book does not ask you to hate carbon dioxide, far from it. And yet this is still a book that wraps up with, and I quote, in summary, we're in deep. You see, carbon dioxide is powerful, a kingmaker. Well, really, I guess more of a world maker. Powerful enough to shape the world we inhabit. Powerful enough to break civilization if we push it too far. That's the heavy lift Peter Brannen's The Story of CO2 is the story of everything tries to pull off. And in my opinion, he succeeds, which is no small feat. This book is over 400 pages of brisk, accessible writing from a seasoned science reporter, backed by a roughly 30-page bibliography for anyone who wants to check the receipts. Brannen starts off on an early Earth we would not recognize nor survive. And from there, he follows carbon dioxide through volcanoes, rock weathering, oceans, photosynthesis, fossil fuels, ice ages, mass extinctions, industrial civilization, Middle East geopolitics, and somehow, yes, even the war in Ukraine and the Strait of Hormuz. This book patiently lays out the long geological carbon cycles and then overlays shorter-term biological ones. Ancient sunlight captured by life, stored by geology, and packed beneath an oxygen-rich atmosphere that is only too happy to get the opportunity to reunite with it. Add humanity, a clever fire-loving species trying to scratch out existence in the interglacial period of an ice age, who, having already burned a decent chunk of the organic matter on the surface, finds the buried stuff too. And Brannen makes the case that unleashing those millions of years of stored energy in a geological blink of the eye has real consequences. Now, I'll be honest, I was never a huge geology guy. I tried, but I didn't dig it. I tend to zone out after Jurassic, like most people, I imagine. So my one real criticism of the book is that I really wanted more diagrams. Yes, there is a collection of photos and diagrams in the middle of the book, but I find typically that by the time I get to those, I've usually forgotten the context. What would have helped me more is if there were simple illustrations showing where each chapter sits in the geological timeline. Listen, I know this book was already over 400 pages long, so a bunch of drawings would have made it even longer, but a few visual anchors would have helped me keep the deep time stuff in perspective. The speed of human progress hits differently because Brannen overlays those changes on top of that deep time geological groundwork, so it's really important. We are releasing in decades carbon that took millions of years to store. Carbon that the planet left to its own devices would take hundreds of thousands of years at least to draw back down. And that's a problem because the current atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide is what has helped make Earth suitable for our civilization. CO2 has gifted us an unusually steady climate for the last 12,000 years or so, but that calm is not normal. The book points out that Earth has repeatedly swung between icebox and hothouse before, with a mass extinction or 2 or 5 thrown in for free. It turns out extinctions aren't typically caused by asteroids. Yes, most of us know about the one that killed the dinosaurs, but several of Earth's biggest extinction events are tied to massive disruptions of the carbon cycle. So arguing that the climate has always changed is not a mic drop. It's really a cautionary tale. Humans can change atmospheric CO2 concentrations, full stop. One of the wildest examples in the book cites researchers who argue that ancient human deforestation efforts may have raised CO2 concentrations enough to keep the planet from sliding back into a catastrophic ice age. In other words, ancient humans may have accidentally geoengineered themselves out of an ice age using carbon dioxide. You know, that would probably have made a pretty good thumbnail. Spoiler alert, this book does not have a happy ending. Remember the whole we're in deep thing? Brannen quickly runs through the economic and technical challenges of many of the proposed solutions. He savages some solutions like carbon capture and biofuels and is painfully blunt about the massive challenges of converting to renewables. Brannen holds out hope that humanity can begin the sober and serious work of preserving the only atmosphere human civilization has ever known. There is no silver bullet. Any changes that will lead to a more sustainable energy economy will come with costs, but maintaining the current trajectory comes with costs of its own, potentially catastrophic costs if geological past is prologue. So I recommend The Story of CO2 as a story of everything. So here's the exciting part. It gets the first spot on the shelf right. And so this is the exciting part. It gets the first spot right here on this shelf. What book will join in next? Who gets to be its little cubby buddy? Subscribe and find out. Now, I usually like to end my videos by saying thanks for watching and have a great day. But I think Brannen deserves the outro honors this time. I like how he ends his acknowledgments. Every second that any of us are alive is an unthinkable miracle, and there's no reason to ever be bored. And thanks again to you, Mom. That sounds about right.